Hello everybody, welcome back to another weather video here. Today we'll be taking a look at the winter storm that's going to be affecting the mid-Atlantic, the storm that's exiting the northeast, and the winter storm that is entering the Pacific. If we start out in the west, you can see that you have numerous winter storm warnings, advisories, and watches up for a storm that's about to come through. In the mountains, you have avalanche warnings and heavy freeze spray warnings that you have. And down by Texas, you have hard freeze warnings and advisories down here. That's all from the dark blue, purple, and I think that's some speck of pink. Actually, I don't know what that is, actually. It's a red flag warning on top of all the other stuff that is going on. And now in the Northeast, you have the remnants of the winter weather advisories and warnings from the storm that's exiting right now. And this is where the big storm is coming. Right in mid-Atlantic, you could see these purple colors in northern counties of Alabama and Mississippi stretch all the way from there all the way up into central New Jersey. That is a winter weather advisory. And then in that you have colors of pink here that stretch all the way once again from northern Mississippi and Alabama all the way up into central Jersey. And let's not forget these two watches here. You have a flood watch in North Carolina and a tornado watch that stretch from parts of Alabama, Panhandle, Florida, and into almost Atlanta, it seems like, in Georgia. If we take a look here, this is your winter storm that's going to be affecting parts of the mid-Atlantic. On the backside, where the colder air is starting to intrigue into the storm, you have rain changing to snow on the backside of Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, and soon to be into Alabama. On eastern side, on right in front of this cold front, you can see that you have your thunderstorms popping up. That's why you have your tornado watches up. And notice the boundary temperatures. Right over here where it's snowing, obviously it is very cold. Temperatures in the teens up here, 20s and then 30s as you get closer to the south. And once you go over here, it is 80 degrees in northern parts of Florida, 60 degrees in North Carolina. And if you take a little bit more of a jog north here with me, you can see that in Jersey, where you could see a foot of snow, believe it or not. It is 60 degrees right now. Upstate New York, where it is snowing currently, that's where you have your leftover snow from the storm that just affected you from yesterday, up into Buffalo, all the way up into Caribou, Maine. This is where your remnants of the storm is. Some of it is lake enhanced right over here by the lakes, as you can see here. But that is pretty much it with that storm. As you can see, the low pressure is starting to move up into Newfoundland and Nova Scotia. And then as you make your way back here, you can see that your low pressure is actually starting to form right down here. Now, once this storm forms, it's going to make a more of a track east-northeast, so it should go off the coast like that. Let's say if it does go a little bit more north than that, it will make a huge difference. So let's say if it goes like this, which some models do somewhat show like that, but not as far north, like the GFS takes it out to here almost. This storm is going to be moving east-northeast, so it's not going to wrap up into a huge monster storm in the Gulf of Maine like you have seen sometimes during the winter. So there's going to be a sharp cutoff, and that depends how far north this storm goes. If the storm takes a track like the DFS, the cutoff will be right about here, I believe. Just north of New York City, just south of Boston. That's where the cutoff would be. And if the NAM is correct, the cutoff would be south of Long Island and into central Jersey. But I will say this, the GFS was alone in the storm for a while now, and then the European is agreeing with it, the Canadian is agreeing with it. The GFS past couple days made everybody think that the model is insane practically, giving Delaware 8 inches of snow, but it did it for so many times in a row that the models finally start to come back to an idea of a storm happening, and that's why I think I'm going to follow the GFS, and you'll see also why soon. The NAM doesn't really make much sense. It is too weak, it's flat, it doesn't have much precip as it should. Like right now, you actually have a decent amount of precip going on here. And the low pressure system hasn't even formed yet, believe it or not, and you already have this amount of precip. But if we go back up to the north, where you just had your snowstorm yesterday, Chicago in the 20s, lower 20s, upper teens here. Detroit 22, central and northern Wisconsin, you're in the single digits. You have some negative numbers, but not as extreme as yesterday. International Falls this morning was negative 24. I saw that. I don't know how you can survive in that, to be honest. I love the cold. I would love to live up north, but that cold, it's you just can't stay outside whatsoever. It's just too cold, way too cold for me. And As you take a look into Arizona, you have 30s and 50s happening over here. Nevada is pretty cool out. You have your 20s, 30s, and into the northwest where you have your winter storm about to make an appearance, you have your mountain snow, rain in Seattle. It doesn't look like it's going to snow in Seattle this time. It's not that much cold air left, but your storm is up here. As you can see, it is right up there. It's spinning away and it is driving moisture right into Washington. And this has been happening all year so far. This storm is going to wind up, spit in some moisture, and it's going to give you a nice amount of snow if you're in the higher elevations. But like I said, this storm down here wasn't even supposed to happen. So some people are calling it a surprise storm, and I don't blame them whatsoever, but we shall see if it does pan out to be a surprise storm. Now on to the WPC probability of having winter precipitation here. This is the percentage of having, let's say, an inch. We could always go down the list here, but this is a chance for having an inch for this storm that's going to be affecting the mid-Atlantic. As you can see, it's pretty high all the way through Tuesday. This is where your 80% plus chances right through Long Island, all the way down back into West Virginia, Virginia, and down into the Carolinas down here, and all the way back up into just west of Nantucket and south of Plymouth. That is where I think you'll see the heaviest snow by far. Long Island, I believe, all the way back here, just northwest of New York City, I think this is where the cutoff will be, judging by where the blue is. I'm not saying that it's guaranteed, but that's where I think the cutoff will be. And I think the 3 to 6 would also be right along Long Island as well. But I think the farther out east you go and south, that's where you think the heaviest totals will be. And that's what the GFS European and all the other models believe. And if we go to the 2% chance, 2 inch, you can see that it's still across Long Island, a 50% chance right here. Actually, this is 50-60 right there. That's 50-60. This is 40-50. So yeah, 50, 60, 70 is still on Long Island. But by far, places in Delaware, southern New Jersey, this is going to be the jackpot by far. Washington is just out of it. Even though Washington is probably going to see, I would think, 4 to 8. If you just let a little bit more east, you would have been in like the 8 to 12 range. And if this is for the 4, the 40% chance is still on Long Island. Montauk, all the way out east, actually has a 50% chance of seeing more than 4. This is, in the red, it is almost a guaranteed an 80-90% chance. And if you want to go, to the 6, you actually still have a chance on Long Island, which I'm kind of impressed with, because yesterday they didn't even show anything for Long Island. The inch was in the brown the other day, and now it's in the green. So that's a 20-30% chance. Down here you have a 70% chance, and this is for 8. I don't think anything's on. Wow, that actually is something on Long Island. But yeah, this is where I think the jackpot is. 12, you have a little bit touching Long Island, and 18, I think there's a small pocket that forms up. Yeah, there's a little pocket that forms, but I don't think anybody's going to get up to 18 inches of snow with this system. But this system is rather impressive after being a no storm to a storm that could drop maybe a foot plus in some places. Now onto the GFS here. This is the fresh 18Z. I waited for it to come out. As you can see, you have the storm approaching around, I would say, this would be roughly 6 in the morning, 6, 7 in the morning here. And as you continue, you can see that the snow starts to bloom out. As soon as you get north of this line here, you are really not going to see much. And you'll see why in a moment. And you can see that most of it stays down, the heaviest stays down by Delaware, southern New Jersey, east end of Long Island. But Long Island does get hit rather okay. It's not like they won't see anything like the other day. Same thing with Nantucket, Plymouth, and northern New Jersey, but it's not like a full-blown nor'easter or anything that you could see cancellation-wise, I would say. But if this does tick a little bit more north on the 0Z, or comparing it a little closer on the radar, and you can see that the storm is moving a little bit more north, then maybe you could get into some of these heavier bands. The GFS did take a slight tick south, so the low pressure is here. It was here, now it's here. See, that little much difference could force this line to go from here to right about just north of Boston and into Connecticut. But I think Long Island could see 1 to 3. Same thing with Nantucket and Plymouth. And as you get lower than this line right here, you are probably going to see more than 4 inches of snow. Now, if we go to the European, sadly we don't have a precipitation map. If you go over here, there's no precipitation, but there is a total precip by type. And if you go by that, you could see it actually gives a decent amount of snow for Long Island, southern Massachusetts, Plymouth, Nantucket, central Jersey, Maryland, Delaware gets hammered pretty heavily. And if we go to the total Cura, which I think is the best, and you go close up into the Northeast, this is what it gives you. It gives the East End 8 inches of snow. I think it actually gets a little higher than that by Montauk, but according to the Euro, this is where the cutoff would be. Same thing like the GFS. Now, will this happen? I don't know. I want to believe the European and the GFS, but there's also the NAM, which I will show in a moment, where it shows the cutoff being all the way down below Long Island. This would give DC 15 inches of snow, Baltimore around the same, Central Delaware 18 inches of snow. Now, like we went and looked on this WPC, you can see that there is a chance for 18-inch of snow. Will it happen? I really don't think so because it is 60 degrees right now. And it's not like it's going to come down at 28 degrees fluffy snow. It's going to come down at like 33, 34, 32 degrees temperatures. And it's going to be relatively thick, wet snow. Now, if we go to the NAM here, which by far has the most suppressed, you can see it's not even in central Jersey. It's in southern Jersey where this cutoff is. Long Island doesn't see anything, nada, nothing. Southern Massachusetts, and even Rhode Island didn't even see anything from this. But I wouldn't go with the NAM. 4 runs ago, the NAM had zero snow. Nothing in Delaware, nothing in Virginia. It had a low pressure system going out over here, and now it has a low pressure system going out here. All the models follow the GFS, and I think the GFS is still the right way to go. That's just my opinion, but I truly believe that the GFS will come out right in this if everything goes to plan. But if we go to the means, the ensemble members for the European, it still shows 4.5 inches from Long Island, 6 out east. I would say 4, maybe 3.8 for New York City. But like I said, this is definitely the bullseye. Central southern New Jersey, back into Virginia, Washington, D.C., Delaware, and even Nantucket could get into this, I believe. So if you are in Nantucket, do not be surprised if you get put under winter storm watch or advisory. Same thing for some parts of Long Island. And if you take a look at these percent chances of seeing exceeding 1 inch of snow, this is the European ensemble, the 100% is in the red. So if you are in any of this area right here, pretty much in this red right here, I definitely messed it up, but you get the idea. If you are in this red right here, you are 100% seeing an inch of snow. According to the European, this is not 100%. I would go by the WPC probability much rather than this, but this is the 3 inch. You can see that the 50% chance is backed by New York City, south of Boston, and you can see that DC, Baltimore, Maryland, almost half of Maryland, if not more than half of Maryland, but you get the idea. Almost all of Delaware is in 100% chance. This is for 6. You can see almost all of southern Jersey, almost all of Delaware, almost all of DC. There's a little bit of a speck that's in the 90% chance, but you get the idea. DC has a good shot at seeing 6 inches. This is a foot. Southern New Jersey, central Delaware has the best chance of seeing higher than a foot. And if we go to 18 inches, the European has nothing. If we go to the GFS mean here, I believe the new run is coming in, so it won't be able to go that far here. It won't be able to go that far, but you get the idea. Is this for 18? Okay, so I just want to compare something. This is for last run, and this is for now. So it did back off a little bit, but I'm sure it will still go up. But you get the idea. That's for 1. That's for 3. You see the 50% chance is on northern parts of Long Island. 6, 12, and then this is 18. It actually does show specks of 18 just south of DC, and this is 24, and it actually does show a 10% chance for southern Jersey, central Delaware, and central and northern parts of Virginia. Do I think it'll happen? No, and just for fun and giggles, 36 is nothing. So this is what I'm thinking for the storm. This storm will definitely have a sharp cutoff, as you can see by these totals. You could quickly go from 1 to 3 to 5 to 8 inches in the span of 50 or less miles. But this storm does also have time to shift. Even though this storm is going to happen tonight, and even into some parts of the area it's happening right now, for areas up here, it does have time to shift a little bit more north. If that does happen, this 3 to 5 inch line could go up to here, 1 to 3 could go up to here, just south of Boston. Do I think there's a chance that it could happen? Yes, but I don't think it's really a high probability of happening because I think it already shifted as north as it probably will. But by far, this would be the jackpot right here. 8 to 12 inches, maybe a chance for even higher totals. I I put the plus there with a question mark because I do acknowledge the fact that there could be a chance for higher totals, but the temperatures are going to be so warm. Some places could be 36 degrees and snowing very hard, but at that rate, it doesn't matter if the surfaces are cold or not. It's just the matter of fact how hard it's coming down. The 5 to 8 range stretches all the way from central New Jersey, central southern Jersey, all the way back down into southern Virginia, maybe even getting close to the border of North Carolina. The 3 to 5 stretches all the way back from Nantucket, southern Plymouth, touching the south shore of Long Island and Montauk, all the way back down into parts of North Carolina and all the way back up into Montauk and Nantucket. And the 1 to 3. This is by far the hardest spot to put it because I could have put it here where it is now. I could have put it here. But looking at the new run of the GFS and some other models, I think I put it in the right spot. Just north of here, you can see it coating maybe to an inch, but it's not going to accumulate to much. And yeah, all the way back into Maryland, West Virginia, North Carolina, into parts of western parts of Virginia. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the snowstorm if you wanted it, and if you didn't, I'm sorry to say that the last minute trends always come back to haunt you guys. But if you do want the storm, go out and enjoy it. You may not have another storm for, who knows, maybe for the rest of the year. But yeah, go out, enjoy it, savor it while you can, and have a great day tomorrow.